It's our pleasure to share with you fascinating features coming up in today's edition of Jamaica Magazine. I'm your host, Adrian Atkinson. Sit back and relax as we download the Travel Pal app for a safe and convenient journey, and then we'll take you on a pathway to improving your health in our HealthWise segment. Stick around for more after this important message.
If you are experiencing symptoms of the monkeypox virus, including fever, intense headache, swelling of the lymph nodes, back pain, muscle ache, lack of energy, and/or a rash on the skin, you must self-isolate immediately and call ahead to your health center or doctor before visiting. The virus may enter the body through broken skin, even if not visible, the respiratory tract, or mucous membranes, eyes, nose, or mouth, and has an incubation period of between 5 and 21 days. The spread of monkeypox may occur when a person comes into close contact with an infected animal, direct contact with monkeypox skin lesions or scabs of an infected person, contact with clothing or linen such as bedding or towels used by an infected person, and the coughing or sneezing of an individual with a monkeypox rash. Wear a mask, frequently wash hands, and practice physical distancing as part of the infection prevention and control efforts. For additional information on monkeypox, visit the Ministry of Health and Wellness website at moh.gov.jm or contact the local public health department.
The vision of government is to have a safe and efficient public transport sector, and the Transport Authority, as part of its mandate, is working to improve the environment for commuter comfort and safety using information and communication applications. It's the Travel Pal app. Take a look. There's this vast yet ever-growing network of connected things causing meaningful disruption even in the transportation industry, and that's the Internet of Things. Beyond your ride-sharing services, scheduling and routing company vehicles, or the cashless bus and rail services, life-changing technological advancements are engineering safety features and interactive designs to improve the transportation experience. Life-changing technological innovations, such as the Travel Pal app, is one way through which the Transport Authority is revolutionizing the industry of movement.
Travel Pal application is an application used or developed, I should say, to empower the commuting public to know that they're entering into a licensed vehicle by the Transport Authority. That's it in a nutshell. To know if it's a licensed vehicle of the Transport Authority, and also to make sure that they are safe in the vehicle. The need for the application, Travel Pal application, came 5 or 4 years ago when the management team of the Transport Authorities tried somehow, some way to let the commuting public know that they're entering into a public passenger vehicle that is licensed, not just by looking at the red plate alone. Having a red plate on a vehicle doesn't mean that you're licensed. Yes, you have been licensed, but we want to know if you're currently licensed. So we try to find a way to let the commuting public know that they're actually entering into a currently licensed public passenger vehicle. And if not, what they can do with that as well.
The features that characterize this app are necessary for our social climate and quite revolutionary.
Features of the Travel Pal application are 1, the sharing of the application, 2, the verification of the vehicle that you're going in. Once you download the application, all that's needed is the registration of your phone number. Once the registration of your phone number is done, you put in a license plate, verify the license plate information. For example, you will put in the license plate PP1234, and then you can verify the owner information, you can verify the driver information if it's available, you can verify the license information. You can then share that information with loved ones, your mother, father, whoever you want to share information with of the trip. And you can also, in the event that something happens, you can also push a panic button and share that trip information and location with loved ones as well. Those are the main features. Features that will be coming in the Travel Pal application in the coming weeks or months is that we're going to be interfacing with the JCF, Jamaica Constabulary Force 119 Center. So once you push that panic button on the application, it will no longer send information only to your loved ones, but it will also send a signal into the 119 centers of the JCF as well. More features that will be coming are, for example, point system, where if you share the app multiple times, you'll be able to get, whether it be prizes or if you want to have gifts given away, we also have that as well in the application. So there are two main features coming.
And as for further developments with our telecommunication providers?
The agreement between our telecommunication providers right now is that they are working to make the application free. They are working to have it data free. So for example, once you have a smartphone, you don't have any data or credit on your phone, you still be able to use the application regardless of where in the country you are. So that is work in progress. It is being worked on right now with both Flow and Digicel.
And for your peace of mind, the $2.3 billion Travel Pal app, which has been attracting hundreds of persons using public passenger vehicles, manages your data with high security standards.
The security of the information on the Travel Pal application is done twofold. We have a data security advisor through the company that developed the application. The licensed database is stored at the government database center locally in-house, and the storage of your location details is not done at all unless you push that panic button into the 119 center, and then that's where the 119 center will then be able to locate your information. But once you end the trip, that's the end of the storage of the data.
The Ministry of Transport and Mining's Travel Pal app is creating something for the safety and security of the commuting public. The app is free to download and free to use. Let's start our route to safety today.
Why war? Why killing? God made us all to love each other. Why stray from the word of God? Remember, we are our brother's keeper. Let us stop and reflect that God is love and erase the war and the killing from our minds. Our fathers and our mothers, our brothers and our sisters, our seniors are all getting frustrated from the sound of the guns. When is this painful phenomenon going to stop? Is it a disease that is taking root in our land? Let us kneel together and ask our Creator to grant us that loving word, peace.
Each time you're not paying full attention to the road environment, the greater your chances of getting in a crash like that. Plan routes to avoid focusing on GPS systems, prevent children from roaming in motor vehicles, turn down the volume of car stereo systems, pull off the roadway if you have to use mobile devices, do not read, watch television or eat while driving, avoid multitasking, and keep conversations with other passengers to a minimum. Whether you walk, ride or drive, avoid potentially fatal distractions.
Non-communicable diseases or lifestyle diseases are preventable if we choose to make healthy choices, like eating healthy. Government recognizes the positive and negative impact of salt consumption and is making the effort to eliminate overconsumption in the population. Learn more in this, our next feature.
Most of us are very familiar with salt. The most common is table salt. The chemical name is sodium chloride, and it's a common component of the food supply in most countries. There are several other sources of salt, including monosodium glutamate, or MSG as it's commonly known, and sodium bicarbonate or baking soda. Salt is commonly used to flavor food and is used as a binder, stabilizer, as well as preservative. Sodium, or salt as we know it, plays an important role in the proper functioning of our body, with just about 500 milligrams needed daily to carry out normal body functions, such as water balance and nerve conduction. However, most of us are consuming much more than is needed.
Global estimates suggest that persons consume between 9 to 12 grams of salt per day, which is 1.5 to 2 times the recommended intake level.
This briny affair is one of the key factors in our non-communicable disease burden. In simple terms, our overconsumption of this nutrient is contributing to the development of several diseases.
When we look at the heart and cardiovascular system, increased salt intake is associated with high blood pressure, with ischemic heart disease, with hypertensive heart disease, as well as heart failure. For the brain, it's associated with stroke, as well as dementia. For the kidneys, with chronic kidney disease and renal stones. For the stomach, there's an association with increased risk of stomach cancer. For the bones, there's problems related to osteoporosis.
High blood pressure or hypertension affects 1 in 3 Jamaicans, and another third is pre-hypertensive. Salt consumption is also often accompanied by increased intake of calories, which increases the propensity for obesity.
Given that the entire population is at risk of NCDs, given the significant impact and the burden of NCDs, it's imperative that there is sustained action to mitigate the effects of salt consumption.
In 2021, the Ministry of Health and Wellness launched the Jamaica Salt Consumption Knowledge, Attitudes and Practice Jamaica Salt CAP Study. It was designed to provide local baseline data for strengthening strategies to eliminate overconsumption of salt within the population. The ministry is partnering with the National Non-Communicable Disease Committee, the National Health Fund, and the University of the West Indies on the study.
One important aspect of addressing the health concerns of any population is through research. This study, therefore, will help to determine the knowledge, attitude, and practices of our population as it relates to salt intake and strengthen the implementation of strategies to reduce.
This project has specific objectives. So firstly, we aim to estimate the dietary sodium consumption among Jamaicans using spot urine sodium analyses. We want to evaluate the salt content in commonly consumed packaged foods sold in supermarkets. We also want to evaluate the sodium content in commonly used consumed foods in local restaurants. Then we will conduct a national survey to get information on knowledge, attitudes, and practices regarding salt intake in Jamaica.
The World Health Organization, WHO, recommends less than 5 grams of sodium per day for adults and less than 2 grams for children under 11 years of age. 1 in 10 Jamaicans consume excess salt by adding it during cooking or at the table, as well as by frequent consumption of salty sauces or high-sodium processed foods. A significant amount of sodium also comes from ready-made meals and prepared foods, including processed meats, breakfast cereals, and snacks. It's a scenario where the entire population is at risk for NCDs. Minimizing this habit for excess salt in the diet of Jamaicans is one of several goals informing the Ministry of Health and Wellness's NCD agenda. The mission to shake the salt habit begins with the young. Lowering sodium in children's diets today can help prevent heart disease later in life, especially for those who are overweight. Limit their consumption of salty snacks. And remember, no more than 2 grams per day from all food sources for those under 11 years of age. Let's also shop and cook smart. Use less or no salt when cooking and add more flavor to your food by using fresh herbs and salt-free seasoning instead. Also, keep a watch on the foods that are high in salt and limit the consumption. Take the time to carefully read the nutrition labels on food products to determine those providing the healthier options, and be mindful of the portion size you consume. Also, seek out recipes for healthy, tasty meals that can be prepared with little or no salt.
Jamaica is a signatory to the United Nations International Covenant on Economic, Social and Cultural Rights, which recognizes the right of everyone to the highest standard of health. And we believe that in order to achieve this, we must address the crises of NCDs and the role that excess salt, sugars and fats play in making Jamaicans susceptible to getting a lifestyle disease.
Jamaica has committed to the World Health Organization voluntary target to reduce sodium or salt consumption by 30% by 2025. Achieving this requires buy-in from all stakeholders, including manufacturers, retailers, health professionals, and consumers.
We have a duty to ensure that Jamaicans are aware of the harmful effects of unhealthy diets and have access to important nutritional information, which will allow them to make healthier food choices. It has to be tackled initially from the prevention perspective, and the core of that is consumer information, and then policies that encourage or nudges health-seeking behavior.
We all must do our part to break this briny affair. Shake the salt habit and stay healthy.
Lowering the sodium content in children's diets today can help prevent heart disease later in their life, especially for those who are overweight. Shake the salt habit, shop smart and cook smart. Use less or no salt when cooking. Try using fresh herbs and seasonings to add more flavor. Limit the consumption of salty snacks. Take the time to carefully read the nutrition labels on food products to identify those high in salt and choose the healthier options. Remember, no more than 2 grams of salt per day from all food sources for children under 11 years of age.
Drinking untreated water can make you sick. Up next, we'll see how water taken from rivers and aquifers is treated and made safe to drink before it is piped to our homes.
The human body cannot function without water. While you may live for up to 3 weeks without food, you cannot go more than a week without water. From breaking down the food we eat so the body can use it, to helping us heal when we get sick, water is needed for almost every process that takes place in the body. And although 70% of the Earth's surface is covered with water, drinking it directly from seas, rivers, wells or aqueducts may make you sick. Untreated water contains bacteria and other germs, as well as chemicals that may be dangerous to the body. So in order to get the water from here to here safely, it has to be treated. Water treatment processes differ depending on the source. If the water is coming from a river, for example here at the Negro River in St. Thomas, it usually goes through an extensive treatment process before reaching the pipe.
Here is where we do the first type of treatment in the form of sedimentation and screening. Behind me you can see where we screen the bigger stuff like the sticks, the stones and debris. Then we come down to the sediment where we separate the sand from the stones. And then this water will leave from St. Thomas and pipe into Kingston via pipeline into the Mona Reservoir.
The Mona Reservoir is the island's largest raw water storage facility and provides the liquid to over 30% of people living in Kingston and St. Andrew. If this is where you get your water, Here is where the next step in the treatment process occurs.
Here in the reservoir, we allow for maximum levels of mixing, maximum levels of aeration, as can be done here at the facility. We also, at the reservoir, you allow for settling out of the silt and the suspended particles, dirt particles, that would otherwise be in the raw water. We then take the water from the reservoir and take it to the Mona treatment plant.
At the treatment plant, chemicals are added to further purify the water. Chlorine is first added to kill bacteria.
You have stages that include flocculation, where we actually add chemicals to the water that allow those microscopic dirt particles that are still in the water to be brought together in what we call flocks, and then we are able to skim it off and remove it from the water.
The water is then passed through filters which contain layers of sand, gravel, charcoal or synthetic materials that remove remaining small particles. The final stage is disinfection. Here, chlorine is added to kill any other bacteria or germ.
Ensuring that we have what we refer to as chlorine residual that goes with the water, so that as the water travels along the pipeline to our customers, should it come in contact with any germs along the way, there is enough chlorine residual in that water to destroy those germs and still be delivered to the customer in good quality.
The water is tested all throughout the treatment process to ensure that what you get in your pipe meets World Health Organization standards.
For several years running, the National Water Commission has won the best tasting water in the Caribbean. We have also been acknowledged by the various arms of the United Nations at different points in time as having one of the best quality water in the hemisphere.
That is definitely something we can drink to.
Breast milk is the ideal food for babies and can satisfy all the infant's nutritional needs for the first 6 months of life. It provides much needed antibodies to protect them against all kinds of infections. Babies exclusively breastfed have less episodes of diarrhea, acute respiratory infection, and skin conditions. Breastfeeding also benefits mommies too, through decreased risk of breast and ovarian cancers, improved postpartum recovery, and reduced iron loss. Breastfeed your baby to give him or her the best start for a healthy life. Remember, breastfeeding is best.
Jamaicans, look on the murder rate. You think that normal? We need to get every illegal gun and save our country.
Keen attention is being paid to rural development, with a number of initiatives on government's agenda this fiscal year focused on improving rural life and the economy.
The Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development will make even a stronger contribution to the transformation of Jamaica. We want to erase the experience of people walking for miles to get water. That is why the drive to increase minor water supply is being accelerated this year with the completion of water shops in Commodore in Portland and Myersville in St. Elizabeth. That is why we are building more water shops in Manchester, Mile Gully, Porus, Somerset, and Johns Hall. This year we will complete a wide range of water supply projects at Water Mountain, Pear Tree Grove in St. Catherine, Cornwall Barracks, Bangor Ridge Phase 2, and Stone Hill in Portland. We go to St. Mary, we go to St. Elizabeth, we go to Mango Valley in St. Mary, Madam Speaker. All of this at a cost of $215 million under the Rural Development Upgrade Program. The government is listening to the call for better parochial roads. The answer from the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development is to provide funds to carry out the repairs. Many residents in Jamaica want to be properly connected to the electric grid, but cannot afford the cost of house wiring in some areas. Infrastructure such as streetlight pole is insufficient. That is why this year, through the Rural Electrification Program, we'll be spending over 300 million to erect 10 kilometers of additional pole lines and connect 2,000 households across 10 communities to get electricity, Madam Speaker. We will be building at least 11 new concrete indigent housing in St. Mary, Hanover, and Westmoreland this year. Additionally, the joint initiative with the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation, an unprecedented 120 social housing unit will be built in various parts of Jamaica this year, Madam Speaker, by the Prosperity Government. Under the Paint the City initiative, you want to go to Brownstown in St. Ann, you want to go into Lucy, you want to go into Hopewell, into downtown. Under this program, we are looking to improve our urban space. We have partnered with Jerry and Nevy, and Mayor Williams is there. You go to Crab Circle at Heroes Park, looks spanking nice and pretty. We are partnering to improve public spaces across the country. We're going to Brownstown, we're going to St. Ann, we're going to Lucy. We are spending funds, Madam Speaker, right across to transform spaces in Jamaica to give it a facelift. Over some 298 million will be spent on this program.
To deal with crime and violence, we must be united. Please cooperate with the security forces. Call 311-119 or the JDF tip line. If you know something and you not talk, you're a part of the problem.
The proceeding was brought to you by the Office of the Prime Minister.
The following is brought to you by the Office of the Prime Minister.
In our free society, violence happens every day. And we, the people who suffered this violence today, inflict it on our own. And worst, defend their use as necessary to discipline our children, pick forget lick, spare the rod and spoil the child. Necessary as a show of love to our intimate partner, she believe him love her while him beat her. And necessary to bring order to households and community. Him violate, so him for dead. Let us all commit to protecting our freedom from violence.
The proceeding was brought to you by the Office of the Prime Minister.
And this is where we end today's journey inside Jamaica Magazine. Be sure to join us again tomorrow for another show. Until then, there's more to watch by visiting our website at jis.gov.jm. On behalf of the entire production team, I'm Adrian Atkins, and until next time, do take care and walk good.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.